Hey first graders, I am excited to help you make cloud charts today. So in your packet that you picked up from school, you should have had a little baggie. And inside that baggie, you would have found 3 cotton balls, a little piece of a blanket, and a feather. You also should have had in your packet a piece of blue paper. Okay, so those are the things you're going to need from your packet today. And then from your house, I want you to find a crayon that will show up on the blue paper. Now, because we're talking about clouds, I'm going to use a white crayon, but if you don't have a white crayon, pick something that's dark enough that it will show up on the blue paper. Okay, and then you will also need some wet glue. So if you need to go find those things real quick, pause this video and then be back in a moment. Okay, so hopefully now you have all the supplies that you need. I hope that you also were able to watch the video which talked about the main types of clouds. Now, I know it was a silly video and I'm sure you got some laughs out of it, but I hope you also were paying enough attention to notice what the names of those main types of clouds were. So we're going to talk about those real quick. The one of the types of clouds they talked about were really high up in the sky, and they were very thin. And sorry, it's kind of hard to see my hands, but they were up high in the sky, and they were very thin, and they looked as if they were just barely brushed across the sky. And those were called cirrus clouds. Can you say cirrus clouds? Cirrus clouds. So let's brush our arms across, lightly fingers across up high to show cirrus clouds. Okay, another type of cloud is the type that you probably look at when you are finding different shapes in the clouds. You know, think of a beautiful summer day when the sun is shining and there's just a few fluffy clouds up in the sky, and those are the ones that you can often find different shapes in. Okay, so these are the nice fluffy clouds. They're not up at quite as high as those thin clouds, the cirrus clouds. These are lower down and they're very fluffy looking and they look like they'd be really soft to grab onto. Okay, those clouds are called cumulus clouds. Can you say cumulus clouds? Cumulus clouds. So the cumulus clouds are the nice fluffy clouds that you just want to squish and look like they'd be wonderful to lay on. But as the video told you, you can't lay on a cloud. You just go through it. Okay, so we have cirrus clouds brushed lightly high in the sky. We have cumulus clouds that are fluffy and puffy and look like piles of cream or pillows or marshmallows or maybe cotton balls. And then finally, we have clouds that like to spread out across the sky. Okay, they like to spread out. You don't usually see much of the blue coming through them, and they often are looking gray and dark like it's getting ready to rain. In fact, I'm looking outside my window right now as I'm making this video, and that's the type of cloud that I'm seeing in the sky. Okay, so those low clouds that spread out are called stratus clouds. Can you say stratus clouds? Stratus clouds. So again, we have cirrus clouds, we have cumulus clouds, and we have stratus clouds. And those are the 3 clouds that we are going to talk about on our paper here. So I'm going to make myself small for a moment. And I don't have a blue paper on my screen, but you'll still get the basic idea of what we're doing. So have your blue paper and have it going up and down. You can see on my screen right now that I have my paper going up and down. And right across the very top, so your letters are almost touching the edge of the paper, I want you to write the word clouds with your crayon. And we're going to write it with all capitals. So we are going to put capital C, capital L, capital O, capital U, capital D, capital S, clouds. That is the title of what we are doing right now. Okay, now do you remember which clouds were way up high and soft across the sky? That's right, it was the cirrus clouds. So I want you to take your paper. I'm going to get big here again for a moment so you can see what I'm doing. Okay. So you're going to take your paper that you wrote clouds on, just like I did here, and you're going to put 4 fingers. See how my fingers are touching the word clouds? And you're going to see how far down the paper 4 of your fingers go. And right underneath, so it's touching your pinky finger, is where you're going to write the next word. Okay? So, and that is where we're going to write cirrus. C I R R U S, and I'll show you that in a second. But see how I can fit 4 fingers in between, but there's not other empty space. It's just enough space for 4 fingers. Okay, so that was for cirrus. So I'm going to go smaller again so you can see the spelling here. C-I-R-R-U-S. And that can just be lowercase. Okay. Now, which of the 3 tools I gave you do you think is most like the cirrus clouds? Remember, cirrus are brushed lightly across the sky. You can kind of see the sky through them. If you're thinking of the feather, you are correct. So on your paper, right above the word cirrus, you are going to put a stripe of glue, just 1 stripe, right in the middle. Can you kind of see that stripe of glue? And that is where you are going to lay down the feather. Okay. So now I have clouds. I'll go big again. So I have clouds, then my feather labeled with cirrus. Okay, now we are going to do the next type of cloud. Down underneath cirrus, just like before, you are going to put your 4 fingers touching the word cirrus and write your next word barely touching the bottom of where your fingers go. Now the next cloud type we are going to do is cumulus. And this is how you spell cumulus. C-U-M-U-L-U-S. Cumulus. Now do you remember how we showed cumulus clouds with our hands? Okay, these were the ones that were puffy, fluffy, ready to squish. Which of our tools best represents cumulus clouds? Are you thinking of the cotton balls? That is correct. Okay, so now we are going to put our cotton balls in that empty space between the word cirrus, and the word cumulus. Okay, this time I am just going to put 3 dots with some space in between them on my paper. This is where I'm putting the glue this time. See that? Okay, and onto each of those spots, I will place 1 of the cotton balls. So it looks like that. Okay, now we're going to do the final cloud type. Do you remember what it's called? If you said stratus, you are correct. So just like before, you can put down 4 fingers, or since this is the last one, you really can just go to the bottom of your page and write it there. Okay, but stratus is spelled S-T-R-A-T-U-S, stratus. Okay. Can you remember how we showed stratus clouds with our hands? We spread them across because the stratus clouds like to spread across the sky, kind of like a blanket, which is why you have a little piece of a blanket to represent the stratus cloud. So in that empty space between the word cumulus and the word stratus, I'm going to put a little zigzag of glue. There's my little zigzag of glue. And lay across it the little piece of blanket. Okay, so there we are. We have our cloud chart showing cirrus clouds, cumulus clouds, and stratus clouds. I hope you had fun making your cloud chart. Now you can share it with your family, tell them more about the clouds as well, and maybe you can ask your parents to help you look for pictures of the different cloud types and see if you know what their names are. I hope you guys are having a good time. I'll talk to you later. More plant stuff is coming soon. Bye!